Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Champions, issue number 9, and I know what you came here for. Professor, you going to tell us something about Champions number 9? No, I'm not. I'm going to tell you 5 things about Champions number 9, because, that's the new format. Anyway, guys, let's get talking about this. This issue is called While You Were Away. Writer, Jim Zub. Artist, Stephen Cummings. Color artist, Marcio Menez. And letters, VC's Clayton Cowles. Probably also helps to mention that Kim Jacinto and Rain Barretto are the cover artists. So check this out. The number 1 thing that I want to talk about is TNA. No, not the wrestling company, but what they currently stand for, and that is total non-stop action. And that's exactly what this comic book exemplifies, probably more than anything else. Everything is just pure action, hard-hitting, boom, 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 fighting. And I love it. Who are the bad guys in this? Well, technically the champions. Who are the good guys in this? Well, also the champions. I'm going to get to more on that later. The second thing I want to talk about, number 2, is Evil Riri Williams. There used to be a movement in Comicsgate, and much like a bowel movement, they were all crap. But they used to talk a lot about how, the only way to save Riri Williams right now is to make her evil. Yeah, shut up. In the meantime, Jim Zub's like, you know what, I'm going to make fun of all of you guys right now, and I'm going to make her evil, and a few other people evil too. And I gotta admit, it's kind of cool, especially because of the backdrop and why they're all evil in this. I enjoyed this. This was a really good way of getting, you know what? No. We're going to save that for a later one. Okay, so number 3, characters who take responsibility. Look, ever since Mark Waid first started the champion, this current iteration of the Champions, well, I'd say this current title, the Champions, before it was Hercules and Angel and all those guys. This current version, which Jim Zub writes the previous and the current volume for, Champions have always been about, we're going to be characters who are going to take responsibility for our own actions. And while that's usually meant, hey, we accidentally blew up a city, we're going to help you in the cleanup process, in this issue, you get a whole lot more than that. You get the idea of, oh, hey, listen, I didn't give you as much information as I should have. I apologize. That's on me. Hey, man, I haven't been treating you the way that I should have. You know what? My bad. Hey, I haven't been a friend the way that I really should have been. Really taking responsibility for our actions. Look, man, if this is supposed to be a book that's mostly meant for kids, which I don't think it is, but if it's supposed to be mostly meant for kids, this is a really great comic book to get kids on, because it teaches something that unfortunately a lot of people in life today, real life, don't actually have. Taking responsibility for our own actions. Imagine that. Hey, you know what? Let's move on to something a little bit brighter. Let's talk about number 4 on this list, and that would be Dat Art Dough. Dude, I am loving the way that Menez is killing it on this art. The colors on this are popping. So, dude, you know what? Let me pop this puppy open. Let me show you some of the things that you don't get to see in the preview pages here. Let's go over here. Look at this. Look at this. This is supposed to represent an evil Nova. But, dude, I love how his helmet pops out like that. I love the colors that come out here. And of course, we got also talking about, I'm mostly talking about the colors, but I mean, Stephen Cummings on this too. Come on. That would be the helmet popping out. Look at just how amazing this art is. Just in this one page. Look at this. We're talking about, we got background effects. We got obviously the foreground effects. We got the main characters. We got action in motion. All of this. This is fantastic. I am in love with the way that this book just works so perfectly. And of course, there are a couple more pages in here you should check. And if you buy the book, you'll know all about that. And that kind of leads me to number 5 on this list. This is the final 2 issues. Yeah, number 9 and number 10. The book is going to end with the next issue. I talked to Jim Zub personally at Fan Expo Canada, and it was a really sad moment to talk. He already mentioned that this is going to be the final 2 issues, and he also talked to me about, and I talked about this in one of the previous podcasts that I'd done, how this book is actually doing really well as far as people reading the book. The problem is, it's not people reading the book by going to your local comic book store and supporting your local comic book store and supporting the company and supporting the artists, including the writers who are making this book. No, unfortunately, it's people getting the book digitally. And unfortunately, that doesn't mean through Comixology or the Marvel app. Jim Zub actually works really closely with Comixology. You might have noticed he does a couple creator-owned books on Comixology. And yeah, no, it's not on Comixology either. It's some of those illegal sites, which I looked at recently and saw that these sons of guns actually have the audacity to ask for donations. Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? And they get those donations too, which is miserable. Anyway, yeah, however it is that some people are getting this book, they're not through the normal ways. And while we may look at certain things like theft, and of course there's going to be a bunch of people who are going to be, who actually do illegally get this book, who are looking at this review and they're just, oh, screw you, hit the like button and leave. That's cool, because you remember we were just talking about taking responsibility for our own actions? Jim Zub is technically out of a job. Stephen Cummings is currently out of a job. Marcio Mendez, currently out of a job. All of these people out of a job. It's not just the idea of hitting Marvel or Disney. No, you're actually hitting the individual people who are responsible for the creation of this book. Also, Carlos at my local comic book store. He's kind of losing money on this. Plus, your local comic book store, everybody's local comic book store. It is not a victimless crime. It's not even close to it. How is this one of the things about this book? It's actually one of the major things for this book. Marvel said that this book is doing well. Jim Zub can see that this book is doing well. Everybody involved in this book can see that there are a lot of people who love this book, but the sales are showing that people are getting this book other than through the proper channels. I'm not here to judge anybody based on how much income you do or don't make, but at the end of the day, you are supporting somebody. The question is, are you supporting the comic book company, the writers and the artists, or are you supporting the thieves who are taking this book digitally and making it available through illicit means? Yeah, there's a lot of action in this book, and it's because the book is ending. Characters are taking responsibility. Unfortunately, a lot of readers who aren't. And yeah, this is a really sad moment, because this is a really amazing comic book. And unfortunately, this is going because people aren't getting it through the regular means. I know, comic books are expensive. I know, it sucks. But this book is now going away, and nobody gets this book. And unfortunately, we're going to see that happening with a lot. We've already been seeing it with a bunch of books, but we're going to start seeing it more and more with some of the other books. At what point is it going to happen with Spider-Man? At what point is it going to happen with Superman? At what point could this possibly happen with Batman as well? Because at the end of the day, there's a reason why companies like the WB are looking at DC Comics and saying, it's not really worth it keeping this comic book company. And while you may get people like the comic gators who sit there and talk about all the reasons why the comic book companies are failing, the real reason, aside from their projection, the real reason, aside from their own faults and fallibilities, the main, real, true reason why comic book companies are starting to fail right now is because of the illegal digital market. Yeah. Guys, also consider supporting reviewers. I was actually kind of surprised to hear so many creators who recognize me and I love it when people don't comment, when people write or review a comic, or write or draw a comic book, and they don't actually, comment, hey, wow, I loved your review. Thank you for talking so nice about my comic book. It's great to get to know these people, but I go to the comic book conventions to actually meet these guys. I'm going to try and go to New York Comic Con also, since my bud Ario Anandito is like, hey, I'm going too. You should be there. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll be there. Anyway, It's great to go there and actually see these people and actually see the faces of the victims of these kinds of crimes. But this is a killer, man. This is a killer. It's a great book that most of us enjoy the hell out of. We're not going to be able to see it anymore, and now there's really no recourse for it. If you guys ever do get the chance to go and meet Jim Zub at one of these comic conventions, ask him about it. He's got a lot to say. And that's going to be it for me, guys. Hope you enjoyed the review. That's really kind of bad. Ends on a terrible note. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.